Hello, everybody, and welcome to another iteration of Laying the Points with Farley Bets. This is our weekly ATS overview of everything that happened during the past week of the NFL. Another crazy week of NFL action for sure. A lot to talk about. And let's get started with the elephant in the room, talk about John Gruden and the Raiders. Sometimes betting is ice cold. You just have to take feelings, heart, all that stuff out of it. I really wish that I took advantage of that situation last week and bet on the Bears at Vegas against the Raiders. When John Gruden, after he said something like that, it's impossible for that to not have an effect on a professional team. Obviously players, black players, all players had to be in their heads after seeing these allegations come out and hearing about these emails. So no surprise that the Bears walk away from Vegas with a win, and an easy win at that, holding the Raiders under double-digit points. I mean, a Raiders offense that's been prolific so far this season. So that whole situation is just an absolute shit show. I mean, you've heard everybody talk about it already. What more can I say? I mean, it's shocking to see a coach who gets a 10-year, $10 million, $100 million contract be fired. Probably, it's pretty clear that somebody was probably out for John Gruden to get rid of him. But at the same time, and I only say that because most of us, if you dig up the history on all of us, if you look at the skeletons in our closet, I mean, hopefully there's no racial shit in your closet. I mean, I can damn sure state that there's not in mine. But everybody has some stuff, right? Everybody's said disparaging, dumb things in text or emails or whatever. But John Gruden deserves it. I mean, this is obviously more than just one email, multiple emails over years and years, people enabling him. Apparently, as Adam Schefter said, he hit every single group that, he just offended every single possible group. I've always kind of thought that John Gruden was more popular than he was talented as a coach. That seems very evident now. I tried to defend him as a coach for a long time because, brings an attitude, brings an energy that maybe a lot of football teams need. That level of charisma and personality can be really good for a football team. But thinking differently about John Gruden now, and that's an end of a career. And it's sad to see the effects that this might have on the NFL, just an NFL that feels like it's advancing at all times when it comes to this sort of thing. And this is a step back for sure. And you're hearing players come out. But on a positive for the Raiders, I really do think the Raiders are going to be a better team from here on. They have some good leadership in their assistant coaching staff. They have a good quarterback. They have talent on their team, especially on offense. I'm going to be looking to bet on the Raiders in the very near future. So just a little FYI on that one, a little look ahead. But with that said, because I like to keep these ATS overview short, let's go over some of the picks that we had from this past week. Rams money line and Rams -1. I was all over that Thursday Night Football. Glad that we took that. Rams started off a little slow, but ended up being clearly the right side of that bet. Seahawks, the Seahawks are not, their future is not looking good this year with Russell Wilson going down. Talks that he could be out for the entire season. Stafford and that offense shining once again. Their lack of a run game is still a problem, but they, found a way to get some good runs from Henderson in that game. Of course, that's against a very bad Seahawks defense. But I really do think that the Rams still will not be able to compete with the Cardinals this year in the NFC West. We'll see what happens. I mean, ton of talent on the Rams, but I do see more weaknesses in their game. We took the Panthers at -3.5. I gave that away as a premium play, but obviously in Circa, we took the Eagles because I yield to Steve, who you know from Laying the Points, our weekly ATS podcast. He's an Eagles fan, and he is 5-0 now on betting Eagles games this year. I think we all might want to listen to him. I was still thinking that the Panthers would cover this number. It's a home game. Thought that Christian McCaffrey could come back, but even without that, looked like in the first half of the Panthers were clearly the better team. In the end, that is not the case. Eagles, because they can win so often on the offensive and defensive lines, they find a way to stay in games. Great defense in that game. And Jalen Hurts, he did what he had to do at the end of that game as well. So kudos to the Eagles. Kudos to our Circa picks, premium pick not so hot for me. I thought the Jags would at least cover in the first half. At the Jags +3 in the first half, it was also a bad pick of mine. Not a bad pick. I mean, the Jags came out with some energy, just some unfortunate turnovers in the first half. Felt like I probably should have won that bet, actually, but the Titans ended up obviously cruising to a big win there, so that's unfortunate. The Lions, excuse me, +9. Happy to see the result of that one. You know, the Lions really should have won straight up. This is a team week to week that I'm going to continue to like as a team that can cover. They're tough. I like Dan Campbell a lot. He's more intellectual than people give him credit for, and I love that he shows his emotions. He's a big dude, right? He looks like the dude, but he shows his emotions. He has passion. Teams are going to respond to that. Players are going to respond to that. And I think the Lions are going to be a great cover week to week, most weeks actually, especially in spots where they have an advantage. I think you can count on the Lions to stick in these games. They're a better team than the record shows, that's for sure. For 0-5 team, and if they were in the NFC East and some other divisions, they might bode a little better. Denver and Pitt under 40. That's another premium pick that I did not get right. Surprised to see as much scoring as we did in that game, but we did nail the Steelers in our circa picks. What can I say? The Steelers finally found a run game, and Denver let me down on defense a little bit. Expected the Steelers to win, finally in a good spot, but just more offense than I thought would happen. Not by much. I think 46 points in total, but I just couldn't see how these offenses were going to score, and the defense is let down. Bengals +3. Oh, one of my favorite picks of the week. All the money was on the Packers. Bengals were in a great spot. Joe Burrow doing amazing things. I thought he was knocked out of that game, came right back through a touchdown pass. I love the Bengals. I love their fight. I love their blue-collar mentality. I love Joe Burrow. Their defense is clearly better. I think Zach Taylor needs to grow some balls. He needs to be a little bit more aggressive in his play calling. The Bengals obviously could have won that game. Missed field goal, kept them from winning that game. Mason Crosby obviously helped the Bengals win that game too with his missed field goals. But, man, feels like that's when we should have won. Bengals +3. Too bad we didn't get the hook, and that's why key numbers are so important. If that's +3.5, we win that bet. Houston and New England under 39.5, another game where I didn't see where the scoring was going to come from. Davis Mills steps up and throws actually a really damn good game, and the Texans probably should have won this game, but the Patriots covered. I think the Patriots didn't cover. Houston covered, but the Patriots end up winning the game, saving probably a lot of survivor picks in that one. Chargers -1.5, one of my favorite picks of the week, and you love to see it. This was a crazy game. 41 points scored between these two teams in the fourth quarter, 26 points from the Chargers, and those were not bogus drives, my friends. 275-yard drives, a total of 251 yards, I believe. It's in the back of my head, this math. With Chargers in the fourth quarter, Justin Herbert in the fourth quarter, Mike Williams, Eckler. Chargers have something special with Herbert, and the fact that they came back to win that game and scored 26 points in the fourth quarter. Brandon Staley looks like a more aggressive coach than they've ever had, a better game manager from a coaching perspective than they've ever had. Love the Chargers. And again, Baker Mayfield actually, and the Browns had a great game. Baker and the Browns had a great game. But when push comes to shove, at the end of that game, what did you see? 3 straight incomplete passes from Baker, and the Browns lost. Like we said, I will take Herbert in front of Baker and Herbert before most quarterbacks most of the time. And it ended up being correct. So that was great to see. A 3-star pick we landed there. Cleveland and Chargers under 46.5, no comment. That bet got shredded. Giants +7.5. I could obviously talk for hours about this. My Giants, they were extremely competitive. Score was tied 10-10. I thought they came in just like I thought they would, well coached, not intimidated by the Cowboys. But when DJ and Saquon went down, I think it took the life out of the Giants. I think they would have covered that number. 7.5, we got the hook there if those guys stay in the game, but who's to know now? We did nail the over on that game, over 52. Arizona and San Francisco, all the trends were pointing towards the under. I decided to go contrarian and go against that. Ended up being a very low-scoring game, so bad on me for that. Bills +3 in money line. Nailed that one, obviously. The Bills are so impressive. Way, way better than the Chiefs on defense right now. Bills are the most complete team in the AFC, I believe. Next to the Chargers. I mean, Bills-Chargers AFC Championship would be pretty exciting to see Josh Allen against Justin Herbert. Did pretty well on teasers. We had Denver +8 and Baltimore on 1. That would have hit, but on a 2-leg teaser, you can't push on any one of those legs. So Denver +8, that just counts as a push, a loss. Depending on your book. And then in the second teaser, Denver +8, New England -2, and Cincinnati +10. That one would have hit because it's more than a 2-leg teaser. We also got a great teaser last night with the Ravens winning and that total going over to put us in positive units for the week overall. Still positive units, I think +1 unit at the end of the week, 6 and 7 overall. But we're still at +17 units on the year, 38 and 33 overall. That's 54%. And Steve and I, as always, will be coming straight at you with our picks and full ATS overview tomorrow in our podcast. 14 games to go over. It's going to be nice to get a little break from the 16-game gauntlet that we've been seeing. But thank you, everybody, for supporting us, for listening to our podcast. Can't wait every single week to talk about the NFL with Steve, and he has been white hot. I'll let him speak to his record, but he had another winning week. I think he's hitting at a rate close to 70%. Very impressive. Steve at Snorm, bringing the heat as I knew he would this year in the NFL. So between the two of us and all the insight that we give, hope that you're all enjoying it. Hope that you're all benefiting from it. Let me know if you want to become a premium customer. Contact me at Farley Bets, and I'll show you how to do that through the Odds Breakers. Check us out, the Odds Breakers, and all these things that are scrolling below. Sports Wager University. Follow us on there. That is the future for sports betting. I'll put it that way. And I got a gig. I'm so fortunate. I got a gig to talk NBA bets at BetUSTV. BetUSTV, a great show, a great ongoing show with great sports bettors getting on there and giving great insight. I'll be on there multiple times a week throughout the NBA season because, as you know, I hit that 58% win rate last year, 207 to 152 overall in the NBA, and I'm excited to get back after it and give a lot of wins and hopefully grant a lot more in your bankrolls back at home. So thanks, everybody. We will see you tomorrow. Live broadcast, 7 p.m. as always, laying the points with Farley Bets, me and Steve. And until then, we will see you soon. Let's win some damn money.